Personal Altar and Why You Should Create Yours by Aion Farvahar. The world is designed to perfection to distract you from finding yourself, distract you from who you are, what you honor, and what your life is meant to be about. Your personal altar is the symbolic representation of you, which draws you back to yourself and reminds you of your pledge to your authenticity, your divinity, and your life. Hi, this is Aion Farvahar. I'm glad you're here. This channel is about self-realization and honoring our life purpose and meaning. If you're interested in these topics, please subscribe to stay connected. Your support is the foundation of this channel and encourages me to create more content in the future. For more information about myself and my life mentoring practice, please find my bio link in the description below. Also, for more information about the artists behind the expressive images I use here, please see the description below. Today, we want to focus on personal altar and why you should create one to remind you of who you are, what you believe, and what your life is really about. We humans have a deep and sophisticated mind. On the surface, we experience our sense of self through our personality, which is a collection of our emotions and beliefs, and how we feel about ourselves, what we like or dislike, or what we want or don't want. Very often, we are taken over by our emotions and beliefs and act in reaction to them without being fully centered or having much control. At times, we may find ourselves caught between two conflicting emotions or beliefs, preoccupying our mind. The more centered and self-aware we are, the less we are subject to our strongest emotions and beliefs. Being centered and self-aware is essential if we want to live life with a sense of clarity and conviction, and not as affected by the emotional drama and chaos manifesting all around us. But how do we become more centered or self-aware? Where is our center? How do we find it? Personal altar is the symbolic representation of your center and can help you find it and stay connected with it. Personal altar is not a religious altar representing the sacred. It is the symbolic representation of your most authentic self and everything you pledge to value and honor in your way of life, including what you hold as sacred. This presentation describes what personal altar is, how you can create it, and why you should do that in order to remain more centered, authentic, and self-aware in your life. More specifically, we cover the following topics. What is a personal altar? Why having a personal altar is essential. Essential elements in a personal altar. And how to create your personal altar. Let's go over these. What is a personal altar? An altar is often used in a religious or a spiritual context, or in a places of worship as a symbolic representation of the sacred. When you are in a place of worship and find yourself in front of its altar, your awareness shifts away from your mundane emotions or beliefs toward what the altar represents and awakens in you. In that sense, your presence in front of a religious altar aligns your awareness with its sacred meaning and what that meaning inspires in you, maybe helping you correct the path you're in, or find clarity related to choices that lies before you. Religious altar is the place of attunement to the sacred and the insight or reflection that the sacred inspires in you. Altar is also used in ritual or cultural ceremonies as a place of pledge to sacred oaths or commitments. For example, wedding altar is a place of commitment to relational love and communion. In general, altar is a symbolic representation of something sacred, meaningful, and what one holds as worthy of commitment and honor. A personal altar represents a combination of all of these and can include spiritual, ethical, cultural, and personally meaningful components. In its simplest form, your personal altar must include symbolic elements representing what you view as sacred, divine, and numinous, what you find most meaningful to you, and what you stand for and pledge to honor in your life. We say more about these elements later when I provide some tips on creating your personal altar. Why having a personal altar is essential. Your personal altar is the symbolic reminder of you and your pledge to live a life that is most meaningful to you. Because of that, the altar should place somewhere in your living space, such that you see it and spend a few minutes with it every day. Even though your personal altar is external to you, it, by its definition, represents you and what you hold most sacred and meaningful. In other words, the personal altar you place in your living space is the symbol and reflection of your inner altar, your heart as the center of your consciousness. In many shamanic wisdom traditions, your heart or heart chakra is the spiritual center of your being, the point of access to your axis mundi, from where you experience yourself, your divinity, and engage the worlds within and without. Stating it differently, your real personal altar is your inner altar, your heart center. And the personal altar you placed in your living space is like a mirror that reminds you of your inner altar or heart center. As a mirror reminds you of who you are on the surface, your personal altar should remind you of who you are or pledge to be within. Having a personal altar is essential as having a mirror in your home. Without a mirror, you forget who you are on the surface, and without your personal altar, you forget who you are deep inside, which is your most aware, true, and authentic self. Essential elements in a personal altar. Your personal altar should have different elements, representing different aspects of you. In most cases, your personal altar have a central piece that represents your religious or spiritual belief. In addition to the centerpiece, your altar should have symbolic elements reflecting your core values and elements that represent your connection to nature, life, cultural heritage, and so on. Not all these elements may be resonating with you, but you should know them. These elements can be outlined as follows. The centerpiece element is usually the symbolic representation of the sacred as it reveals itself to you. This is the symbol of the divine, or what you consider numinous and worthy of honor and worship, like divinities, sacred symbols, guardian spirit, angels, and so on. Symbolic elements representing your personal mythology and guiding principles in life. These are a set of core values or principles that you pledge to live by. Symbolic elements from nature and the earth, such as plants, feathers, gemstones, natural elements, and so on. These elements represent things in nature that you resonate with, or objects you find grounding and centering. Archetypal and shamanic elements, representing healing or alchemical transformation, like fire, wind, water, archetypal mother or father, spirit animal drawings, sacred herbs, and so on. These are elements that complement your spiritual beliefs or inspire you to heal yourself, rise above your life challenges, and evolve to your most authentic and ideal state of being. A symbolic element representing your purpose or your highest pledge in life. This element should remind you of what you feel your life is really about, or what gift you pledge to bring to this world or the people around you. Not all of these may be relevant to you, and you need to focus only on those that are resonating with your heart. Remember that every element in your personal altar should have a deep meaning to you and reminds you of something you pledge to honor. How to create your personal altar. The centerpiece. Creating your personal altar is about finding and arranging its symbolic elements. The altar is usually placed on a beautiful piece of cloth or fabric with artwork, preferably with a medallion or mandala design representing the heart center. The most important part of your altar is its centerpiece, or the symbolic representation of the divine, or what you hold as sacred and worthy of service, worship, or communion. The centerpiece can be a religious symbol, a totem pole, a statue or painting of a divinity representing the highest manifestation of the divine as it reveals itself to you. The centerpiece in your altar is the heart of the altar and the symbol of your highest divinity or angel as you notice it. This symbol should remind you of your heart center and its divine qualities. For example, a cross symbol reminds you of Christ consciousness present deeply in your heart center. A Buddha mask or symbol could remind you of compassionate Buddha nature as a quality of your heart center. A guardian spirit or daimonion symbol, often used in shamanic or ancient wisdom traditions, reminds you of the guardian angel that accompanies you in this life to call you to your heart path and service. To find the centerpiece in your altar, you must invite and look for the symbol of divine in you. If you're religious and have a deep and heart-open connection to the divine, you can choose its religious symbol as the centerpiece of your altar. If you're spiritual but don't seem to have a specific symbol representing the sacred, you need to search to find that symbol as it reveals itself to you. Finding your personally unique divine symbol or a symbol representing your angel or guardian spirit is about opening your heart and paying attention to any symbol that keeps appearing in your dreams, meditations, and so on. There are few ways to identify your personal divine symbol or figure. Here are some possibilities. The symbol of the divine may be a symbol from your ancestral lineage that resonates with you and draws you in. The symbol of the divine may appear or reappear in your dreams to a degree that draws your attention toward it. The symbol of the divine may emerge through synchronicities, which means the symbol keeps appearing in your daily life frequently, but in most improbable ways, drawing your attention toward it. The symbol of the divine may appear during a shamanic journey, ceremony, or vision quest, resonating a sense of familiarity and communion in you. And in very rare cases, the symbol of the divine may emerge as a part of shamanic or spiritual crisis. This is usually how indigenous shamans are selected by their guardian spirits and summoned to serve their communities. Keep in mind that when you find the symbol of the divine in you, your heart should resonate with it. You must know and feel the meaning of the symbol and check if your heart opens up when in presence of the symbol and what that symbol calls you toward or inspires in you. If you already have resonance with a divine symbol, you can reaffirm that through shamanic journeying to make sure that that symbol is in fact the master of your heart and the image of the divine imprinted in you. How to create your personal altar. Other elements. The second most important part of your personal altar are symbolic elements representing your personal mythology and guiding principles in life. These are a set of core values or principles that you must define and pledge to live by in this life. Your guiding principles are your inner constitution, helping you navigate life in an authentic way. They remind you to be true to yourself, be a sovereign and authentic individual, and to live an honorable life. Your guiding principles define your authentic self and way of life. So they should include everything that is unique and authentic about you. Below is an example of the declaration of a personal mythology or guiding principles. Regardless of where my life may take me, I declare my pledge to honor earth, nature, and all living beings, to celebrate my cultural heritage and gifts, to deepen my connection to the sacred and let go of things in me that are unworthy of its communion, to pay attention to my dreams, visions, and intuition and what they mean to me, to live life with a sense of gratitude and optimism, to have good intentions and live in harmony with others, to keep my heart open and free from negativity and doubt, to refrain from judging myself and others, to bring hope and positivity to everyone whom I come across, to avoid doing things that awaken guilt or shame in me, to learn to respect, trust, and love myself, and extend these to others who deserve it, and to live an authentic and honorable life guided by this declaration. If you would like to know more about how to construct your personal mythology, refer to one of my older presentations related to this topic, linked in the description below. The other elements in your altar are symbolic elements from nature and the earth, archetypal or shamanic elements representing healing or alchemical transformation, and a symbolic element representing your purpose in this life and your pledge to honor and manifest it. You should consider adding only elements that feel relevant and resonating to you. In closing, remember that every element in your personal altar should have a profound meaning to you. The centerpiece reminds you of your spiritual belief or the divine or angelic essence your heart aligns with and commit to serve. The elements representing your personal mythology or guiding principles remind you of your core values and what human qualities guide your way of life. The other elements remind you of your connection to earth and nature, the archetypal or shamanic healing and transformation, and the most important of all, your highest purpose in this life and your pledge to manifest it in yourself or for your loved ones, humanity, and the world as a whole. If you have found this presentation inspiring, please like and share it with your like-minded friends. Please subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts and comments. For more information about myself and my life mentoring practice, please find my bio link in the description below. Blessings.